Hi everybody, a very warm welcome back to MEC-TEC. We're back out on the driveway today and we're back on the trusty old cab. We've got to put some rear trailing arm bushes in it. It has started to get a little bit of a knock from the back end, so we need to get that back up in the air, get the wheel off, see what we're working with, and hopefully it won't be too much of an issue. So without further ado, let's not waffle on, let's get the cab up in the air and get some work done. Rightio, with the rear wheel off, you can see this is the trailing arm. There is one fixing at the front there. There is one fixing just behind that shock absorber there, and there is also one just at the back there. So it should be hopefully fairly straightforward to get off, and it obviously then just drops down from underneath. It's got like a U shape underneath this sort of axle, which obviously it goes round, so it should just drop off with any luck, and we can get that out, get them bushes pushed out, and hopefully it should be a fairly easy job-ish. With any luck. So I'm going to have a little go at this, see if I can get these nuts and bolts undone, see if they come out easy, and I'll come back to you in a minute. How's this for a good design? I've got all three bolts undone, but that one you can't get it out unless you take the shock absorber out. I took the top of the shock absorber off, as you can see, and it still won't let the bolt come out, so now I've got to take the bottom of the shock absorber off, which is right underneath here, and I've just soaked it in WD and wire brushed it to hopefully get it undone, because I'm not very hopeful that's going to come undone. So that hopefully that's going to be alright, and I can get that out and then we can get the swing arm off. So good bit of design there by LTI, not. Right, there we go. As you can see, that is the swing arm now out, and as you can see, these bushes on this end in particular are pretty manky and have pretty much gone. So it's a good job we're changing these. So that one's not too bad, that end, but obviously we're going to change it anyway. So now we need to get this in the press, get these ones pushed out, and then we can give the arm a clean up. I might give it a quick lick of paint just to give it a bit of protection, because obviously all the paint's peeling off of it. How far do you go? But I don't want them to rust out, that's the thing, so I may have to do that, because that's peeling all the way along there. If you pick at that, that's going to come off. I'm just looking for a yeah, solid, but it's just a bit manky underneath, so I'm going to need to give these arms a clean up. We'll get the bushes out first and then go from there. Right, it has taken me an age to get these bushes out. I will show you more of the process when I get to the other side. Now I've hopefully perfected it a little bit, but as you can see there, I've just given this a rough and ready refurb. It's not perfect, I've just got all the loose bits off of it, and obviously it actually looks alright, to be fair. So I've got all the loose bits of paint off of it, rubbed it all down with a wire brush and a grinder, got it all so that it's all the rust sort of cleaned up and whatever else. I gave it a coat of this stuff first of all, which is the ZG90 cold zinc gal spray, that's silver, just to give it a bit of protection, and then I went over it with black stone chip after, and I think that's come out pretty alright, to be fair. I don't think that's too bad at all. So I'm just waiting for that to get a bit of dryness now, and then we can get the new Polybushes pushed in, which hopefully will be a lot easier than getting the old ones out, and get it back on the cab. Top banana. Right, made an emergency trip to Dan's, so he's having a beer. I made an emergency trip to Dan's because the people that sold me these bushes have given me wrong information, and if you can see there, this is the correct size, which the bolt fits through no problem, but the sleeves for the ones on this end, which I asked them at the time, are they the same size, and they said yes, are actually not the same size. So I phoned up Dan on us emergency and said, can you use your lathe? And we've got the thing in there, and we're just obviously going through it to try and make the hole, or making the hole bigger to obviously let the bolt go through. So massive thanks to you.
It's all right, no problem.
And hopefully we can get this sorted out. So
let's crack on.
Let's crack on. Top banana and all the rest of it. Use a technical term now, he's wanging it through. We have got to do a little bit extra on these, because unfortunately the 12.5mm drill bit is not quite big enough to let the bolt go through, so we were going to go through after with a file, but just for now we're going through them with these to obviously get the centre near enough the right size, and then we'll get a file in there after with it in the chuck of the lathe so it keeps it straight. Love the smell of a cutting compound on a lathe, superb. Right, after last night's issue with the centre of the bushes being the wrong size, Dan helped me out massively. We got all those sorted out and I've now got the arm back on, as you can see in there, with the new bushes in there. You can see under there as well, and at the back there. Now, to get the axle back in line, I've had to put the C1 there with a ratchet strap around the shock absorber. I know it's not ideal. I've not got a lot of pressure on it, but it's just obviously enough to pull the axle back into line again, so I could get those bolts in the arm. So they're now all in. I will go into more detail on doing this on the other side. Obviously, I've not done it before, so I wanted to get this side done. And then, obviously, when we get to the other side, I'll show you a bit more detail of what I've done and how I've done it. But that is this side back on, so hopefully now that is the worst of the clonking gone, because this side was the worst one. So obviously when we get the other one off, we'll see what that one's like as well. But at least the arm is now back on there. All I've got to do is do the nuts up, bolt it all up, put the shock absorber back on, and we should be on to the other side. Top banana. Right, there we go, that is all bolted back in nice and tight. Now I have got the cab resting on an axle stand on the axle there, as you can see, so it is at ride height, to make sure that the bushes aren't under stress when they shouldn't be as such, like when you do them up tight. So you obviously want them in the position they're going to be in most when you do them up. So I've done that. I've also put some not ultra high strength, but some high strength Loctite on the nuts as well, because on my old cab when I had Polybushes on it, I did have the nuts did tend to sort of loosen off over time for whatever reason. So I've put some Loctite on all those as well, so they are all nice and secure. Shock absorbers back in, so we should be good to go. Just get the wheel, well, this side anyway, get the wheel back on, and then we can start on the other side, and I'll show you in a bit more detail hopefully. Now I know exactly what I'm doing and where it's got to go and how it comes off and all the rest of it. Lovely jubbly. Right, now we're on the passenger side. Hopefully I can show you a little bit more what I did, because I've already done it on the other side. Now I've got obviously the cab jacked up, got a brick behind the wheel. I found it easier, or you need to jack this up as well, the axle. Either get just an axle stand under it to support it or whatever, because you've got to take the shock off, and that obviously allows it to drop down too low. So then you'll have your spring falling out and all sorts of problems. So make sure you support that underneath first of all. This is obviously only speaking from experience on the other side. Then you can get this undone on the top there. You can get that one undone, and there's one underneath here which is just out of shot. Just show you. The nut under there, that one there, get that one undone. That will release your shock absorber, and obviously then once you've got that out of the way, then you can undo the 3 bolts on the actual arm itself. Now this side looks like it's actually got a brake pipes clipped into it, the other side didn't, so obviously this side's going to be slightly different in that respect. You just need to unclip those. In fact, no you don't, do you? Just looking. The other one on the other side went underneath the axle. Yes, no, sorry, no, you don't have to touch those at all. It goes underneath the axle, so it doesn't. You don't have to touch any of that. So literally, you've got to take the 2 bolts, support the axle, take the 2 bolts out the shock, take the 3 bolts out the swing arm, and that will release it off the cab. And then I will come back to you when we've got it on the bench, and I'll show you how I got the bushes out before, just so you can see the process I went through. Right, after a bit of struggling, I got this one out. Now this front bush was the issue on this one. The actual bolt was stuck in the bush in the middle, but luckily enough I got the old cordless impact gun on it and it shocked it free, so that was handy. So now we can get these on the bench, or get this on the bench I should say, and we can get these bushes out. I'll come back to you when I'm up over near there. This side's nowhere near as bad as the other side was, but it is starting to go. You can see this bush is cracking and it's separating from around the edges, so they definitely needed doing. It's always worth obviously doing both sides if you're doing something like this. So let's get on the bench and I'll come back to you. Right, the bench is a mess as per usual, so ignore that. Now you can see these bushes are obviously starting to come out of there. I'm hoping what I'm going to do is just push the middles out, which is what I did before. So basically on the previous one I tried pushing the whole bush out and it wasn't having any of it. So because they've had it, these two were on the other one were really easy to push the middle rubber bits out with the middle shims, which just left the outer obviously bit of the bush, which I then used a reciprocating saw to cut through. That releases the pressure and it taps out really easy then. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get these pushed out. Don't know if you can see over there on the press over there. Hopefully they'll come out really fairly easily. So we're using something that's undersized because we only want to push the middle out. I tried, as I say, tried pushing the whole thing out and it wasn't having any of it. So let's do this one. See, I've not even got the handle on this, it's pushing through really easy because the middle bit of the bush is separated from the outer. There we go. So there's the middle bit of the bush. That should be bonded to the outside, but it's just come completely out, so that's good. Makes my life a little bit easier. Let's go on to number 2. See if we can do this one the same. Now on the other arm, the one at this end was the only one that was an issue, and I had to drill it out first, then push it out. But on this side, it was spinning slightly, so that might push out easy as well with any luck. There. Yeah, pushing through nice and easy. Make sure you got it over the hole in the bottom, alright, so it can go through. There we go, second one out. That was nice and easy too. Again, the whole bush has come out the middle, shows how knackered they are. That back up again and we'll try this one. Hopefully this one will do the same. Now this one's bigger, so you might not be able to use that plate with the holes in, because I don't think that I've got this plate with the holes in that allows you to push things through, but I don't think that's big enough for that. I don't know, it might just about go. Yeah, it might just about go. It's alright. Bearing in mind it's rubber, so it's obviously going to squidge in a bit. In the near future, I'm going to be doing a new workshop build in the garden. So all the stuff like this press and the drill and everything else is all going to be stuff you don't use mega often. Is all going to be down there, so it'll be nice and easy to get to. That's the theory anyway. It looks like this one's pushing through as well, which is handy because, as I say, on the other one it didn't. It's a bit harder because it is a little bit more still together, but it's not going. Why is it not going? Come on. Started to go. Don't know if it's just a bush flexing or what. See what we'll do, we'll try it from the other side as well, see if that helps. If you push it from both sides. Oh no, it's gone down. I wonder if it's just kept caught on this. Let's just keep going. Might have to give it some more welly, that's all. Go in there, easy. Yes, lovely. It's just that bit hanging it up, you can see where it's still glued on that little section. That makes life a lot easier because there's no rubber in the way now to cut these out. Now, I'll show you one of these in real time what I did. and I'll buzz the other two off after. But basically, I've got the old reciprocating saw here, and you just put a slot in it. In fact, I'll do this one first. Can you see that there? No, let's turn you down. I'll put a slot in it, and that obviously then releases the pressure on this outer collar, which allows you to knock it out really easily. Just have to be careful when you do this that you don't go too far and go into the actual arm itself. Usually you can just about see when it goes through. Smell the rubber, but what's left of it on there, not a lot. Right, I'm going to try and knock that through now. What I used before was a little metal chisel, like that, and it just gets one edge of it up and then you can knock it through. Nice a bit. Soon know if you haven't cut it far enough because it won't knock up easy. It wants a little bit more. I've got a couple of new blades for this as well, so if we need them, we've got them. Right. Go any more than that really. See if that works. It does take a little bit of time sometimes, but it's obviously a lot better than damaging the arm and trying to push it through on the press. It's just lifting up just slightly. I found when I've got it to this stage before, it starts to split down that cut, and then you have to cut it just a little bit more to make it go. And all of a sudden it will just go through really easy, then it will knock through easy. So obviously just be careful you don't go into the arm. If you go into it slightly it's okay, obviously you just don't want to start cutting big grooves in it. Come on. It's all the rust holding it, you see. So minimal. You literally have to cut it just so it's just gone through. Sometimes if you go slightly sideways as well, it helps. Or your blade flies out the thing. I've got a couple of new blades for that anyway, so that's alright. That one's probably blunt now, that's why it's not cutting through very well. See if this works now. Come on. Oh dear. Putting up a fight, I tell ya. I'm going to try a new blade because I don't think it's quite cut through enough, as you can probably tell. What gives you that impression? Well, it's not coming out, that's why. Brand new, bought today, specifically to blunt on this. Right, let's try this. Now you watch. I don't want to go no more than that. going on with this. It's certainly putting up more of a fight than the other ones did. Proper in there, that is. Just trying to work out right through it. Going. All of a sudden it'll just start peeling up and then it'll go. There it goes, see? There's going to be people out there who say, just go and buy new arms with the bushes already in them. Yeah, you probably could, but try it. There you go, and that is the outside of your bush. Now, I've just touched the inside of that, but that's alright. See, obviously cutting that then relieves the pressure on that to let it slide through, and obviously it had a little bit of rust around the edge of it, so that's probably what was holding it. So I'm going to basically repeat that on the other two now. I'll get those out. You can see there's another old one from yesterday, or from when I did the other arm yesterday. I'll get these other two out, repeat the process, and then we can get the new ones put in and I'll show you the new ones going in. Right, after a bit of swearing and grief, I finally got all three bushes out of this, and I've given it a quick wire brush with the old grinder, the old twisted wire brush, get all the loose bits off. We do a rough and ready refurb on it. It's not going to be perfect, but we just want to keep it protected, so we'll do exactly the same as I did with the other one. Give it a coat of the cold zinc gal spray, and then a coat of stone, or a couple of coats of stone chip, and we'll call that good, and that should keep that good, and then we can get the new bushes pushed in. Lovely jubbly. Right, with the arm all painted with a quick refurb. It's only a quick and ready refurb, as I said. We've got our polybushes here, which obviously they go in one each side. Hopefully you can see that in the camera. So if you spray some WD in there, a little bit around the polybushes themselves, they have got like a slightly chamfered edge on them, so they do go in fairly easily. And what I did before, I actually opened up the vise. Well, actually no, I pushed them in so they were just in the end, so that they stay there like that, and then you can obviously get it in the vise then and just use the jaws of the vise to squeeze them in, and it's as simple as that. And then obviously when you come to putting the collars in the middle, you do exactly the same thing. Bit of WD-40 down the middle and use the vise to squeeze them in. So there we go, if we put that in there like that, and just wind that in, it should go in fairly easily. And that's it. And there's your polybushing. A little bit more on that one. It's not quite in there. Just get that a bit more. The bottom edge there. There we go. Right, now if I just show you the collar going in, I'll just show you on this one, and then Obviously I can do the other two off camera because they'll be both the same. All three of them are the same, you know. So a bit of WD in there. Start it off. Should just be able to start it off. Hopefully. If you can't, then you'll have to put it in the vise and start it off from in the vise. Either that, or you can actually use a press as well. I used a press at Dan's house when we did a couple of them. That works absolutely fine too if you've got a press. If you haven't got a press, you can use a vise. So I'll just show you this way. So just pop in. Once you get it started past that initial bit, it should go in okay. It's just getting it over that little lip on the edge without obviously tearing it. There it goes. Yeah, and then that just winds in. As I say, but WD-40 goes a long way. There you go. And that's your metal bit in the middle of your bush. Two more to do, and that can go back on the cab. Lovely jubbly. Right, as you can see there, our three nice new Polybushes in the arm, all painted up. Put this back in the cab. Now when you put this back in, you have to get these two in first, because otherwise you get that one in first, the front one, it won't fit around the axle. So you must get these two rear ones in first. I found that out the hard way, as you would imagine. And make sure when you put it on, it goes above the handbrake cable, because I did that as well and got that around the wrong way. So you have to thread it through. I'll show you this after, but you have to thread it through above the handbrake cable. Scratch my paint. Let's go the other way. It's a bit tricky, mainly because I put the jack in the way. And when you come to fit it back on, you'll see on the car the brackets that the Polybush is sliding into have got an opening that's slightly wider on one side to allow them to slide in, start them off. So that makes things a little bit easier. Now, I haven't got my WD-40 with me. I need to get that, because that makes things a lot easier. That makes it slide in really well. Just a little spray on both sides of the bush. Just aids it going in. And with the other side, I did have to jiggle it around with a jack and stuff like that, but hopefully this side might go in a little bit easier. I think I had a dead blow hammer out here last time as well to tap it in with. Which I've got here. I'll just tap it. When it came out, it pretty much fell out because the old bushes were so knackered, but obviously because these ones are nice and new, they are a bit tighter. Do I can lower that down, get that jack out of the way. No, that didn't work. Okay, we won't do that then. Need to have that jack out of the way. You alright? Yeah. It then. It does take a bit of gentle persuasion, shall we say. Sometimes if you get something slightly thinner, you can get it in the hole and lever it. Not quite there yet though. You might be able to get the bolt straight in there. very slightly. That's it. Should just be able to slot them back in fairly easily. Go, that's that back one in. Right, now I need to jack the cab up again on the body though, on the chassis I should say, because I need to drop the axle down into that front one now. Like I say, it is a bit of faffing about, but eventually. If I have that just resting on the axle stand on the axle, I've got no room to tack this up. See? Okay. Close. So with the before I actually had to ratchet strap it to the front of the C1 to pull the axle back in line. Now I haven't thought about that and I've backed the cab on the drive, which is a bit of a pain, which means I can't do that now. So that's going to be a bit of an issue. I'm sure we'll work it out one way or another. Right, I need to tap this a little bit more if I can. Get our second bolt in, hopefully. Yeah, straight in the hole, look at that. What we like, you can make your own jokes. Give that a little tap with a crowbar and a hammer. Hopefully. That's it, that's that one in. So those two back ones are now in. Now we can worry about getting the front one in. How did I do that before? I can't remember now. I think I jacked it right off the axle stand so that the axle's not on there anymore. Or did I? I can't remember now. So I've got a brick behind the wheel so it won't go anywhere, hopefully. Famous last word. Okay, it's getting close. Right, I've got some bit of a redneckery going on here. As you can see, I've got the ratchet strap attached to the garage door frame, and that is pulling the axle back to where it needs to be. So now, hopefully, if I put you here and I'll lower you down, we should be able to get that front bolt in with any luck. It's not going to be very easy for you to see, but there's the bush. Let's see if we can get this. I think I've got it lined up. Let's see. It's getting a little bit dusk out here now, so a little bit hard to see. Hopefully, this is going to go straight in. Well, it started, that's a good start. Let's see if we can give it a little tap with this crowbar and a hammer. So it can't get in there because this side I've got the step attachment for the ramp, so it's even harder to get to. Oh, Look at that, straight in. Gonna go all the way home, that's the question. Whoops, got the crowbar stuck. Right, there's the end of the bolt, there it is. Right, got the crowbar stuck again. That's doing that, doesn't it? I'll show you in a minute what I'm up against, this bracket that's in the way here. Come on. Not easy, to be honest. I'm guessing that's not quite in line, which is why it's not going in. Let's let that jack, I've got another jack under it, I've got 3 jacks out in there. Right, that jack's now not doing anything. So, what's stopping that going through then? Because you can't see in the other side of the hole because there's a bit of the chassis in the way. Okay. Right, as you can see there, the bolt is now in. It actually wanted to come down and slightly towards the back of the cab to allow it to go through the other side. So I just tweaked it with a bar and it went straight through. So that is absolutely superb. Now I've got to get all the, well I say all of them, the 3 nuts put back on, the shock absorber put back on, which I showed you earlier, and then that is all back together and hopefully it'll all be absolutely knock free and marvellous. Right then, that is going to be it for this episode on MEC-TEC. Another job ticked off the list on the old cab. Hopefully the old cab won't need too much more doing to it for a while now. It's had a lot of attention over the last couple of months, so hopefully it will just carry on going for a good long while now and not have any issues. Having said that, it is a London black cab and they are, well, not troublesome, but they're obviously used a hell of a lot. So, you know, watch this space, it may need other work doing to it. You can see that the garage is very empty again. I've had a big clear up, and the reason for that will become clear in the next, well, not possibly not the next video, but if you saw my Reliant royalty series on the Stobart van, you'll know that I did a bit of work for someone on that, and I've actually got its brothers coming to stay with me for a little while, which is the same guy who owns the Stobart van. His trotter van is coming to me for, I need to look at the gearbox. He's got an issue with that. So I don't make a habit of doing other people's cars usually, but he twisted my arm and he said, look, you've done the Stobart van for me, would you look at my trotter van? So I said, yeah, okay. So he's bringing the trotter van all the way over from the Isle of Wight for me to have a look at and see if we can sort out an issue with it not going into gear whilst it's running. So that is going to be in an upcoming video. Now, there are 3 things I'm going to ask you to do. Like, subscribe, share, in fact 4. Like, subscribe and share, and hit the notification bell so you know every time I upload a video. That would help me out massively on the channel. I really do appreciate it. It gets it growing and it gets other people knowing about the channel as well, and if they like this sort of stuff then obviously they can tune in as well. Remember, I have got Instagram, MEC_TEC1985, and I have got Facebook, MEC-TEC, for little sneak peeks during the week of what I'm up to. And all that is left for me to say is thank you very much for watching, and if you want to join me soon for more automotive adventures, I'll see you again next time. Cheers guys.